Hey everybody, welcome to Checkpoint Technology Software Quality and Beer. I am Bob Cruz, joined here by Matt Kubal,
Hello.
Test Engineer Extraordinaire. And so I think one of the things all of you can see, we call this Software Quality and Beer. And you can really notice the beer because you'll notice the real estate on our little table here.
Yeah.
I occupy that big of a space. And look at what my good friend Matthew here has.
A lot of baby beers.
You've got a flight going here, Matt.
Yeah, there's a Range Rover, which I think is an orange something.
All right.
It's pretty good. Very orangey, actually.
Nice,
We are Pils,
nice.
some sort of
Yeah.
Pilsner. I think it's a Czech
Cool.
Pils.
Okay.
No, it's not. Hellas is Lager, and then Rambler. Is Rambler? No, Rambler's not what you're drinking, obviously.
No, I am drinking Trailmaker again. Cheers.
Cheers.
And thanks again for joining us. And thank you to Mike and Aaron here at Thirsty Buffalo in Odessa, Florida. So hey everybody, one of the things we're going to talk about, because Matt and I and our team, Katie, I'm going to mention her name, who's our support coordinator. She wears a lot of different hats. But we've talked about just a lot of the different challenges we've seen due to the gap, if you will, between the business or the leadership of business and then the technology side, right?
Yeah.
So I know one of the things that I see quite often is, and I'm going to dive into the whole money thing, the budget. It seems like the technology team, and forgive me if I lean towards the technology team, but they think about the value. So the savings to the organization, the savings, the risk avoidance, things along that line. Whereas leadership, right, they focus too much on the dollar. So, I mean, have you ever seen that, Matt?
Certainly. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like the leadership changes and suddenly it's about cutting costs. And so you go from people that know a certain tool that they've been using for decades.
Right.
And then suddenly it's, well, we need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
So there's so many open source tools out there. They see that and they're like, well, if other organizations can use those successfully, we should be able to do so as well. So,
Right.
But you go from, people on staff that know how to use one set of tools to suddenly you just say, no, you're using this tool now. They might not have that knowledge, and that might be a lot of training to get somebody up to speed on a different tool.
Right.
Yeah.
And, it's one of the things that, I mean, obviously I'm a business owner myself, so you have to watch cost. And I appreciate that of the CEOs, CTOs, CIOs. I mean, they've got a budget, you've got to try to abide by it. But one of the things that always amazes me is when we get a call, whether it's for services to help them resolve a challenge or a problem, or whether it's because they want a new solution, and they'll give us a list of challenges, and then it goes on for 6 months, 9 months, a year. He's like, well, are these still challenges? And they'll say, yeah, but it's not the same priority. One of the things I always tell people is there is a cost to doing nothing, and a lot of times that cost can be high. So anyway, that's one gap that we see. And what I would say to those on the technology side, when you go to management leadership wanting something, have justification and have your justification documented. Do the best you can to gather numbers. This is what it will help make the money. This is the additional revenue we'll realize, or this is what it will save us.
Right.
So anyway, that's one idea. What else can you think of in regard to gaps?
Well, so going back to changing tools, right? There's a knowledge gap there. So if you find that your existing team can't handle that tool, you might find yourself hiring more people or hiring more expensive people that have the experience of that tool to do the thing you want to do. So you could go from having a functional tool or a functioning tool that works for you and meets your testing needs, and with a team and costs that are acceptable to you, to a free tool with a team that's way more expensive, and the outputs you're getting are more flaky, or need a lot more maintenance.
Right.
So that's sort of a gap that people don't think of. It's easy to say, oh, we'll just cut this expensive tool and we'll save a bunch of money. Well, it's not as simple as that necessarily.
That is so true, because we've always found that open source tools, and there's a lot of great ones, but if you don't have the team that can maintain it or implement it, then you're going to be looking at a much higher implementation and maintenance cost.
Yeah, it's a specialized skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if your people have been using a closed source specific, workflow to do everything, they're probably not going to know how to use that at all.
Right. Right.
So you are going to have to change out your team.
Yeah. And then another thing that I would mention, and Katie shared this with us, and again, she wears a lot of different hats: support coordinator, chief operating officer. She has a lot of conversations with leadership, procurement, and whatnot.
Future member of the podcast.
Future member of the podcast. So we're putting her on the spot, Katie, if you're watching. So cheers to that, by the way. Here's to Katie on a future podcast.
Yeah, she's going to be leading it.
That's right. So wait a minute, let me take a drink. So one of the things that she talks about AI, because we don't hear enough about AI these days. No, and we love it, AI, and we embrace it. But she's shared that she's finding it interesting where some organizations are all in, maybe to an extreme, right? And then others are like, no, you're Dracula, get away from me. And then you have those companies who are in between. They're doing their due diligence. They're weighing the pros and cons, doing a proof of concept, truly evaluating them.
Yeah.
She shared one organization actually said to her organization, look, we're cutting the budget drastically on software solutions for procurement.
Yeah.
And now the decision is, the go forward is to adopt open source and utilize AI to accomplish everything you were accomplishing before.
And I think she mentioned some of them are expecting AI to be part of the existing solution they're using at the same cost, essentially.
Right.
And
right.
It's understandable, I guess, but the tokens cost money, and so somebody's got to pay for it. And so if you're thinking, oh, what's the next release going to give me as far as AI goes? Well, how much AI are you paying for? If it's none, then you're not getting anything.
Right.
Or you're only going to get a taste of it, and eventually you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, and then try to predict what AI is going to cost in the future, because we often within Checkpoint Technologies will use streaming as an example. I mean, think of the streaming channel that you've had for the past 5, 7, 8 years. I mean, how many of them hooked you? I got them now, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And without a doubt, that's what's going to happen to AI.
Yeah. And there are, of course, the companies that want to use, they're open to using AI, but it's like, it's whatever's free, sort of, or you're going to use this open source tool, but you're going to enable, you're going to make things faster by using AI. And what you run into a lot of times in organizations is that you say, well, okay, what AI are you using? And it's like, well, nothing. Like, we're not allowed to use anything. Or we have whatever comes with Copilot, that sort of thing.
Right.
So we're moving to a situation where organizations are expecting faster output for free with AI without actually, investing in any sort of AI tool. It just kind of needs to show up for them.
Right.
And that's really short-sighted. It's like, you got to have a better approach. You can't just cut off your existing tool, expect AI to do it all for you, and think that your existing people are going to be able to handle that.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of haphazard way of approaching it.
Absolutely. And then, just another thing that we see is, your leadership don't have to be experts in technology.
Yeah.
Almost like I've always felt like you can be a great coach without having been a star player. You've got to know the game. But I believe that leadership, they need to know the game of technology, and they need to understand it.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the technology teams in regard to that gap will appreciate it more. But then back over to the technology teams, it's important that you understand your business, that you understand the stresses, the demands upon the business, and the fact that I hate to say it because it sounds so crass, but it is about the money. If your company, if your business is not making money, then whether you have anything to do with it or not, then you should be concerned.
But as a technology person, if you're concerned, get out in front of it. Go out there and research, like, hey, here's what we're doing now. Here's what we could be doing that could save us money.
Right.
And so that you can drive the decision instead of waiting for somebody to make a decision for you and say, hey, here's what you're stuck with.
Right, and that goes back to what it's like help justify it.
Yeah.
Go to leadership and say, look, here are my ideas. Here what the cons are. Maybe start with the cons and say, but here are the pros to adopting my idea.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Any other thoughts on what you see as some of the gaps?
I think there are a lot of teams that still don't know what AI can do for them. And of course, part of the problem there is not being willing to have an AI solution in place at all. But really go out there and research what the AI is capable of.
Right. Right.
It can save you a boatload of time, especially if you're looking at switching tools. It can save you a boatload of time. You just got to have good people in place to know how to utilize the tools.
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. That's a really great point.
I know AI changes constantly, so there's probably a lot of there are a lot of courses that you could have taken 3 months ago that are just totally overcome by existing capabilities. So you can take a look and see what the state of the courses are. If that you're that kind of org that sends your people to courses, but some sort of training so they know how to best use AI in their day-to-day practice.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So hey everybody, with that, if you have any other ideas, please let us know. But I want to take a minute to thank Brian Cirillo of ArcEFX. He always does a great job. And I know he's might have a more challenging time, because I want to remind everybody, we are in a real place of business, Thirsty Buffalo, which is an awesome place. So there's folks in the background. Sometimes they have conversations. Brian works hard to edit all the noises out. They're brewing some cool stuff in the background, right behind Matt and I. So anyway, if you hear any background noises, that's all it is. But hey, add comments. But you know what we would love for you to do, even as much as the comments and following us, is share this with other people. Please help this grow. I'm looking forward to having some guests someday really soon. So with that, everyone, I'm going to say cheers. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Matt. Great job, man. Good stuff. I hope you all got some ideas from this. Take care. Have a great day.